Good morning. We are back from Oklahoma, and this is our bucket of crystals, extremely dirty and muddy from the trip. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill it with water until it covers the crystals and let them soak for a couple minutes, get that sand to loosen up, and then I will scrub each one lightly with a little brush I have, and then stick them on those trays to dry. So they look good. They're just sandy from me just rinsing it off in mud, so it just needs a little quick rinse. I could probably spray them down, but they're lightweight. They probably blow everywhere from the force of the hose, so I'm just gonna take my time and scrub each one. It's gonna take a while, but they are beautiful, and it'll give me a chance to look at each one. Good morning. We are back from the Selenite crystal dig site. I've rinsed off all of our crystals in our gold panning trays. As you can see, it's still a little sandy. I didn't scrub them too hard because they are kind of delicate. And remember, the crystals form around the sand. So as you can see, some of the edges still have sand right here because the crystal forms around it. So however I decide to display them, I will probably give them a little better cleaning. But I got most of the mud off, and so they do look a lot better than the muddy mess that was at the dig site. So we got 4 pans full of these crystals. I pulled out some of the little clusters. They're very delicate. Next time I would bring a separate dish to put the little clusters in, because they do break very easily. I'm pretty sure I had bigger ones than this, but unfortunately they broke because I threw them in the bucket with all the others. So that is one tip. Bring a little plastic container to put all your little matrices in so they don't break. Clusters, ooh, look at that one. Look how pretty that cluster is. Here's a bigger one. All right, so then these are the normal crystals. And so if you're not familiar with the selenite crystals, so it is a crystal that forms around the sand. The crystal forms around sand and others, it could be bones and leaves. So it's an inclusion, and it forms an hourglass inclusion. So that's why they're not clear like a quartz crystal, because the crystal is forming around sand. It's unique. I think they're only found in that Oklahoma location. So as I'm looking at these crystals, I thought I would just run through again my tips for if you're going to the selenite crystal mine. Again, it's in Oklahoma. It is near the town of Enid. It is near the Great Salt Plains State Park. So first tip is, if you're going, enter into your GPS the selenite crystal dig site. Because it is on the edge of the park, if you enter into your GPS the Great Salt Plains State Park, it's going to take you out of the way. The entrance to the park is 20 minutes away from the entrance to the dig site. So go directly to the dig site. The park costs $10 to get in. The dig site costs absolutely nothing. It's free. You can get all these crystals for free. It is just a lot of fun. So number 2 tip. Bring a shovel, but it's absolutely not necessary. We brought a shovel with a bucket. My husband dug our own hole. We actually found no crystals in the hole we dug. We ended up going to a different hole that had crystal shards around it, and that's where we found all these crystals. So if you want to dig your own hole, great, bring a shovel. But if you don't worry about it. There is plenty of holes already there. They don't really encourage people to fill the holes in when they leave. Like, you can just leave a hole as is. So feel free to like look through someone else's abandoned hole. That's what we did, and that's what worked. I would bring a change of clothes. It is a muddy mess. So yeah, we brought different pants to change into just so we wouldn't make our car messy. And bring a bucket to put all your fines in. Another tip is bring a cooler full of snacks and water. This park has no amenities besides a bathroom. There is like a regular outdoor camping bathroom. It was closed when we went in April, probably because it was closed for the winter, but they did have porta potties. So if you go during the summer, they might open the regular bathrooms, but that's all it is a bathroom. So if you know, bring water to drink, bring a snack if you plan to be there all day. We had a cooler with lunch stuff, because the closest town with food is like 20 minutes away. If you watched my digging videos, you saw that we were digging in muddy water. So most of the holes will fill up with water naturally because it's a low water plane, I don't know if I'm saying that right, water table. But if you go during like a particularly dry season, I suggest bringing your own water, like, you know, a couple gallons of tap water. Just add to the hole to make it easier, because it is a lot easier digging the crystals out of mud than it is digging them out of dry dirt. They're still delicate. They do break kind of easily. So if you try to grab them out of dry dirt, they will break. And so that's why I say digging them out of mud is a lot easier. So basically you just want to make your own little mud puddle and sift through it to find the crystals. I'm outside. I hear a motorcycle. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm just outside on my porch enjoying the nice weather, looking at these crystals. So for now, I'm just gonna put them in buckets until I decide how to display them. I'm probably just gonna get a bunch of jars and put the crystals in the jars. Kind of like, you know how I display shells in my bathroom. And then just give them a secondary rinse. They're not muddy anymore, but as you can see, there's still some sand. It's like the beach. There's just sand. You can never get rid of the sand all the way. So yeah, we got these 4 trays full, and this was only 3 hours of digging. I definitely could have got a lot more, but for just me and my husband, this is plenty. So yeah, you could turn like it into an all-day trip, or you can get plenty after a couple hours. Oh, and my final tip is, like, for us, it took us 8 hours to drive from St. Louis. So if you're close to it, great. But if you want to turn it into a road trip, it is a great road trip. I recommend staying in the town of Enid if you need to stay overnight somewhere. Enid is a bigger town. It has like it has everything, you know, like a Walmart, tons of hotels, tons of restaurants, some, you know, very reasonably priced hotels. And so that's why I recommend, if you make this into an overnight trip, stay in Enid. There are a couple smaller towns closer to the dig site, but they're extremely small, and they just don't have a lot of amenities. So that's why I recommend Enid. It was like a 35-minute drive from the dig site, but to me, it was well worth it. here's a good one. See, this one has a, like, you can see the hourglass. That's why they call them selenite, like the hourglass inclusion. I like the little square ones, which is just the tip broken off, but this one's very dark. Look at that one. If you have any questions, just comment down below and I will try to answer them as best as I can. It was a great road trip, and I definitely recommend it if you're into rock hounding, you're into collecting stuff, and technically it's a free activity. I mean, yeah, we spent money on gas, and we had hotel points, so we didn't even have to spend money on a hotel, but the actual dig site itself, you don't have to pay anything. So fun, free activity in Oklahoma. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and we will see you later.